Everybody loves the American campfire. Don't you hear it calling your name? Everybody loves the American campfire.
There I was, back in the wild again, and I felt right at home where I belong. I had that feeling come on over me again, and just like it happened so many times before, Fred Bear walked with me down the trails again. Take me back where I belong. Cause in the wind, he's still alive. In the wind, he's still alive. Talking about Fred Bear. Anyhow, what a great celebration I have every day. This is the Fred Bear guitar. If you want one of these, we're raising more money now since we got the statue paid for. The money for these guitars goes to the Ted Nugent Camp for Kids 100% nonprofit charity. You email toby at tednugent.com, toby at tednugent.com. You can actually get this guitar that I just played, which means it has dangerous levels of mojo. And we've got a dangerous level of truth, logic, and common sense as we get ready to celebrate the great Fred Bear that had such a powerful impact on the conservation families, and now because of the song, millions and millions of rock and roll families. And we got Jerry Coyne from the wilds of northern Michigan. Jerry, welcome to the Ted Nugent Spirit Campfire. Is Spirit Campfire the ultimate way to describe things that I do?
It's such a pleasure to finally be on this end of things, Ted. I'm trying to figure out how many times you've been on the airwaves with me, but I feel the spirit of the campfire right here, right now.
Well, Jerry, when you're on the air, you're a disc jockey, you're a radio personality, but you create a spirit campfire because you're down to earth and grounded. And if any words ever describe the best people in the world, it would be down to earth, trustworthy, people of integrity, goodwill, and decency, someone you can trust and rely on. And as we get ready to descend upon Grayling, Michigan, to unveil the Fred Bear statue, since you're up there in that neck of the woods, I don't have to be there. Wherever I am, there's a Fred Bear thing going on. But Jerry Coyne, what you've done to help celebrate this great man and the conservation family movement, the ethics of real hands-on conservation families of Michigan and the world because of the song. Tell us what you feel up there as we get ready to go to Grayling together to unveil the Fred Bear statue. Is it palpable or what?
Yes, Ted, it is palpable. There are already Facebook messages, photos coming in, people already in town in Grayling getting ready for the big day tomorrow. You know, this has been a long time coming. The Fred Bear Day guys, John and Sharon and Tom, 6 years ago had this idea. Brought it to us at the radio station to help them publicize it. They had to raise a lot of money to do so, thanks to you and so many other folks. The dream has become a reality, and it's so important, Ted, from spending so much time in northern Michigan and actually here in Grayling as a youngster, when you met Fred and started your relationship with him, how important a figure this guy is in the history of Grayling and northern Michigan. And you can't put it into words. I guess you could write another song about it and people would understand the emotion, but you will be here front and center to experience it tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
Well, Jerry, when we do interviews, because, I got a big mouth. I think the founding fathers wanted Americans to be unafraid and uninhibited, and to be confident in the righteousness of the American foundation, God, family, country, Constitution, Bill of Rights, the freedom that is unique to the American experiment. That's unique. But you can tell when we do interviews about rock and roll, I get really uppity. Like right now, bottom line, when I'm not sleeping, I'm really uppity, but you feel the energy and my love and passion for the music.
Oh, yeah.
But Jerry, explain to the people at the Real America Voice Spirit Campfire that when all of a sudden we start talking about my growing up in Michigan with the bow and arrow and the family, the Nugent family treks north, and then I talk about meeting Fred Bear, you can feel it right now as I'm talking. All of a sudden, that uppity, outrageous electricity of the music celebration turns into just unlimited emotion, the memories. That's not unique to the Ted Nugent family. That is the heritage that Fred Bear represented and promoted, and you did too. When we pay for commercials promoting Fred Bear Day on your radio station, you deliver 1,000-fold what we pay for, because you see that there is a spirit to that earthly connection. But share with everybody what happens when you and I start talking about Fred Bear during an interview. It's quite emotional.
It really is, Ted. There's two Ted Nugents that I know. There is the rock and roll god, Uncle Ted, Deadly Tedley, the Whack Master. I don't know how many nicknames Ted Nugent has in rock and roll history, Motor City Madman. But when we talk to each other every year on Fred Bear's birthday, and the stories that you tell, there's so many people in Grayling that have had and still have a relationship with Fred Bear. It's obvious to me and everybody that listens to our interviews on the radio how much he meant to you, how much the song emotionally brought out of you. You always encapsulate that to the audience. And yes, it is a very humbled and much more emotional and grounded Ted Nugent. And, and then I think that all circles back, Ted, to exactly what Fred meant to you and what he changed in you to become the human that you've been, that you are now.
And as you know from people that you communicate with when you play the Fred Bear song, it has been the top requested song since it got leaked out to radio back in 1989. People just love the song because as I get emotional about the Nugent family annual bow hunting northern treks up north, it's not just Fred. It's about my dad. It's about my brother. It's about the family. Everybody, everywhere I go, comes up to me and says that the song Fred Bear is about their uncle, about their brother, about their son, about family members that might be gone, but they relive. It's so powerful. But I bet you hear those stories, and I don't think there's another song that brings out that kind of intimate emotion, is there?
Not in northern Michigan, for damn sure. The amount of requests, we get Fred Bear requested every week. But when we get into the fall and we start getting to hunting season, and people will hear this song on the radio and call in and go, when can we hear it again? Because it means everything to the hunting spirit, all the things that you stand for, that Fred stood for, that all the people that I run into when I'm at Jay's during hunting season and we're doing live broadcasts, even when they're starting now with food plots and everything else, all goes back to the conservation portion of what it means to be an outdoorsman in northern Michigan.
And it's a lifeblood pulse that only a guy that was so blessed and so privileged to be raised along the Rouge River in Detroit. My dad was already a bow hunter when I was born in 1940. I have his bow right here. His bow is right next to me. His first bow that he shot, and my first bow, the real bow. We had kids' bows, but by 1955, I have my U longbow from 1955 that I hunted with my cousin Mark Schmidt down on the Dearborn Golf Course, shooting skunks and squirrels and gophers. But that heritage, religion is powerful in people's lives. The spirit world is a powerful guiding force in people's lives. Being productive, getting up early and being productive, taking care of and providing, protecting their family. These are all powerful forces. But Jerry, up North Michigan, as powerful as those human instinctual forces are, I believe, and I bet you have witnessed, that the instinct to participate in God's creation during the hunting season, I think it encapsulates all those forces, doesn't it?
It does. It does. You're talking about an area, Ted, here in northern Michigan that takes the opening of hunting season off. They call it Gun Safety Day. So all the schools are closed so the kids can go out into the wild with their parents and learn all the things that encapsulate being outdoors, hunting, all the things that you talk about every day on your show, that you talk about in the song Fred Bear, and so many other songs. Queen of the Forest, how many other tunes? I mean, none as powerful as Fred Bear, but you've been talking about this stuff as a musician since the early 70s. You know,
Yeah.
You and I have had this conversation a few times about the fact that you are the face of gun rights in the NRA, okay? How that's fallen on you. But, you know, before all of that, you've been talking about this stuff in music and song in your interviews since you were, 22, 24 years old?
Yep, and thank you, Jerry, because a lot of that was politically incorrect, but you've always facilitated truth, logic, and common sense. I love you, buddy. I'll see you tomorrow in Grayling. God bless Fred Bear. Have a great hunting season. See you next week.